3-0 to Manchester United, a comfortable win over Sheriff. And probably for the first time in the past 3 or 4 games, United get their clinical edge back. Still could improve. A number of saves from their goalkeeper, which you still think you should be burying and putting away. Ronaldo nowhere near back to his finishing best. But another solid performance from Manchester United. Total dominance again. And that's more music to my ears than anything else. United, opening 2 games of this season, absolutely horrendous. Since that point, yes, we lost to Real Sociedad at home. Yes, we've drawn with Newcastle. Yes, we've drawn with Chelsea. But only against Man City where we completely and utterly outplayed, outmaneuvered, dominated, and scoreline absolutely battered us. Since those opening 2 games, the improvement of Manchester United has been palpable. Palpable. And I'm very, very proud as a Manchester United fan of that progression. Now, many people will say, why are you happy? You only beat some minnow. What does this even tell you? Well, it tells me that we're now doing things on a more regular basis so far this season than we have done for the past 10 years. If you go back through Moyes, LVG, Jose, Oli, the amount of times we struggled against teams like this, the amount of times we've struggled against teams that sit in a low block that are hard to break down, we've been caught on the counter. Just go back to last season and look what happened in the group stages of the Champions League, previous years before that, etc., etc., etc. So no one is going to look at this performance and go, this is the reason that United are going to get back to their best. But what it is an indication that the style of play is coming in. And for me, that is what I was asking for in terms of a big part of the progression this year. What is it that we are going to try and do? And if you look back through the last few games, I'm going to look back at these and remember these. Like, Sheriff tonight dominated them. Chelsea, 45 minutes at Stamford Bridge of domination. Destroyed Tottenham. Very good 60 minutes against Newcastle. Started a little shaky, but got better. The Ammonia games dominated them. Everton, sensational, especially in the first 60, 70 minutes of the game. Held on a little bit, got the, and then at the end, probably should have had a 3rd goal in that game. Prior to that, Man City dominated us. You go beyond that, Sheriff beat them easily. Arsenal, 50-50 game, come out on top. The better team against Leicester and the better team against Southampton. So United are getting more and more dominant as things move forward. In terms of individuals, let's get this absolutely right. Tonight, there was one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in football happen tonight. Marcus Rashford scored a header. This man doesn't score. I want to say this is his first goal with his actual head. He's kind of scored a scrappy header that kind of hit his shoulder against Newcastle a couple of years ago. He scored on his debut in the Premier League with a header. I swear today was one of only, if he scored more than 2 headers since his debut, you'd be hard pushed to find them. He scored with a brilliant header today. There's no doubt. Very happy for him. Delo, I'm still not 100% sold on, as if he's going to be the long-term permanent right back, but he has had a very good season. Very happy that he got a goal to kind of cement this excellent start from his point of view to this campaign off. Ronaldo missing some sitters again. And you're thinking, is it going to be another game that goes by without a goal? And then right at the death, Bruno Fernandes with a superb cross, puts it on a plate. The initial header is saved, scores the rebound, kind of breaks that duck, gets that monkey off his back, as it were. And hopefully the past few weeks can now be put behind him. But I really want to shout out an academy player tonight. And that is Alessandro Garnacho, who I felt in the first half was a mixed bag, some brilliant dribbles, came inside a little bit too much. However, what I liked about him is that he's willing to run at a player and beat them. None of our regular fullbacks this year, probably barring Rashford, try and take on a fullback. They always come inside and look for the pass. Both Antony and Sancho do that. In the second half, Garnacho was going on the outside. He was coming on the inside. Final ball wasn't always up to it, but I really liked what I saw. And I always speak about Man United academy players or academy players in general like this. Do I see moments in games where I think could be a player in there? Didn't get it, for instance, with Chong when he made his debut for Manchester United. I didn't get that feeling. I didn't get that kind of, oh, this could be a player in there. I did with a striker that's now left the club, as an example. I did when Rashford came on. Oh, there could be a player in here. And I did tonight. With Garnacho. I've seen him play academy level. I've seen him do it at that level, but I don't really judge players on that. I've seen people break records at academy level and then barely kick a ball professionally and end up becoming a bricklayer by the time they're 23. So I don't take it too seriously. He had an excellent performance tonight. Very, very proud of him. You know, also getting to fulfill a childhood dream. He played with Ronaldo. I'm sure it's going to live long in his memory. My message to him is, though, keep working hard, keep fighting, keep looking to improve every single day. Because I'm not even going to lie, if he starts on Sunday against West Ham, I'm excited. Because the one thing about a player like him is he's going to push the envelope. He's going to make a fullback. He's going to go inside or outside. Can he beat me? Yes, this guy can. He's got legitimate skill and great technique. He's got to work on things like final ball and crossing. That will come with experience. And I'm almost kind of glad that he didn't start tonight with scoring a brace. And suddenly the expectations are we've got to score every game now. It's nice to see some good tricks, some good skills, putting some players on their backsides and showing that he is a United level player on potential. But a lot of hard work needed from Garnacho, but very, very impressed with his debut. His full debut is in when started. Terry, can United win the competition? Yeah, we know Man United can win this competition. Like, of course they can. I think it just, yes. I mean, it's a very simple answer. United can win this competition. Will we win it? I don't know yet. Let's see who comes down. Let's see what our form is like in February. But Man United are getting better and better and better as the season goes on. There are some teams that started well and faded, looking really poor at the moment. Man United started slowly, but form's coming in. You know, I still want to see more purchases in January. I still want to see the quality of the squad improved. But yeah, of course we can. Billy T here says Garnacho played with no fear, and I love that. That youthful exuberance, that lack of fear, as you put it, Billy T, spot on, and that shone through. And I'm not suggesting after one start, we don't need to worry about addressing the inside forward positions, but by January, maybe he gets more game time. Maybe he's starting to impress. Maybe we as United fans and Ten Hag thinks, you know what, rather than maybe dropping 50, 60 million pound on Gakpo, we've got a talent here that we could use. Maybe use that money you were going to spend on Gakpo to improve a different area of the football pitch. Maybe it's the number 9 you go for instead. So listen, there's lots of trials and tribulations ahead. There's no doubt, but it's going to be exciting to see what happens with him. We dominated possession for the 5th game in a row, scored from a corner. Rashford finally used his head, and we saw a Donny van der Beek sighting. Is it Christmas, Terry? I feel a little bit like that. And rivals probably won't understand it, but again, I just feel comfortable in games at the moment with the amount of ball that we have. And, you know, we were probably a little bit naive 7 games ago to try and do this. We was far too open against City, and they destroyed us. And that's a mistake of Ten Hag's, and he'll probably sit back and go, yeah, got that wrong. But the response since that point, you know, there's a growing confidence amongst the fans, and that is translating itself into these players. They're growing in confidence. And I was also very happy tonight to see Maguire get a very nice cheer from the Old Trafford faithful. And I'm someone that has criticized him. I'm someone that still, right now, someone said, look, there's 50 million pounds for Maguire, or 40 million or 30 million. Would you take it for him to be sold? Yes. However, when he plays for Man United, I don't want him to do badly. I love my football club too much to allow my personal feelings and preferences to cloud the team improving. And when you're at the ground, if you do go, of course, you've got to support those players, make them feel as welcome as possible. And it was really nice to see his reception, and Donny van der Beek's as well. You know, the crowd wanted to see a little bit of him, and another delightful, eloquent, pass from Bruno Fernandes that set him up with a great chance towards the end that he probably a little bit sharper, a bit more game time, would have at least got a full connection on. But there we go. And by the way, Bruno Fernandes again tonight. See, people talk about what does he do in games where he isn't assisting. He should have had 2 assists tonight. There was the header, the delightful little cushion header down to Ronaldo for a tap in that Ronaldo missed. And then it was the cross to Ronaldo that the point blank header doesn't go in. The rebound does. I never really quite understand why that pass still doesn't count as an assist. But this is what happens to Bruno. People will look at it and go, well, no assist or no goal again. Bruno was the chief creator tonight, played in multiple positions. He was the only player in the first half looking to run in behind and stretch the defense. Another very, very, very good performance from him. It really, really was. And another game where he had a pass completion rate at over 91%. So this is the thing with Bruno. We're now starting to get the very best of him again. Would I like to see more goals? Yes. But he's being used in a different way now by the manager, and you see that. But the pass completion is better, so he's losing the ball less, still creating the chances. still staying on the pitch for large parts of the game because the manager trusts him. And if you trust Ten Hag, drop your agendas against Bruno Fernandes and put your hands up and say, I was wrong. I think that's what a lot of people need to do with him. Stop talking. Philip, it's literally my job to talk to you and respond. Imagine content creators didn't talk. You're just going to sit there and watch me stare at my microphone. What a weird thing to say. I know you obviously just wanted attention there, Mr. Sorensen, but probably the weirdest comment we've had in a long time on the terrace. Maybe a Spurs fan. Maybe that's what the problem is. I don't know. Terry, let's talk about these Arsenal fans saying Gabriel was the defensive problem. I mean, look, I'd very briefly touch on that because you put the comment in. Gabriel's a very good defender, but he has bozo moments in games. He isn't the reason that Arsenal have conceded open play chances in the last few games. That's been a lack of intensity from the players at the front. They haven't been pressing as hard, and the ball's been played through. So, yeah, I mean, two things can be right at the same time. You can have bozo moments, but not be the complete problem with your team's defense. Yeah. Did Harry Maguire play well? Yeah, look, he came on and played well. He got a yellow card, and it wasn't a yellow card. It was ridiculous that he was booked for that. But yeah, he came on and played very, very well. There's no doubt. All the TFT range, we'll start pushing that a little bit more. I think the hat should be due very, very soon. I'll find out tomorrow. I should know, but I just haven't asked the people making them. I'll find out. United found their level. Look at them getting happy, beating Farmers, etc. Love it. Your hate fuels us. I've said this many, many, many times before about Man United. These are the types of results that in some respects you should be more excited about. David Moyes beat top 6 teams. LVG beat top 6 teams. LVG's record against the top 6 was pretty damn good. Jose beat top 6 teams. Ollie beat top 6 teams. It's these matches. These have been the games in the past decade where we have struggled and fouled so regularly. And I don't remember the last time we played 5 games on the bounce where we dominated the ball, dominated the action areas, created the best chances in the games, and the fan base felt pretty relaxed. I don't know the last time that happened. I don't remember the last time that happened. So I don't care what rivals have got to say when it comes to trying to put us down. I'm in an exceedingly good mood, a brilliant mood with how my football club is playing right now and the improvements that we're making. Antony spin move triggering people again. Let me just say about Antony. We'll wait for the panel to come out and we'll come back to this one. I'm going to star it and we'll come back to that one a little bit later because I've got an opinion on it. There's another super chat that came in here. Terry, please talk about Shawberto Carlos. He is back from how long, nobody knows. Listen, the injury problems he's always had, we get that. But why is Shaw playing well? Opening 2 games, awful, dropped. Had to work his way back into the team. Meritocracy works. Ten Hag's management works. Even Ronaldo, right? He's insubordinate. Went off down the tunnel, got dropped. Had to apologize to come back. Had to say sorry. He worked hard. Whether you like Ronaldo or not, it's irrelevant. He worked hard today. You could see he wanted to impact things for the team and himself and everybody. And the only thing he was shy of, and maybe if he gets the winner against West Ham on Sunday, we'll see him run down the touchline and hug Ten Hag. I'd like to. I mean, I'm being a romantic, but that's what I'd like to see. But of course, Shaw's been very, very good since returning to the first team. Very happy for him, no doubt about it. Finally, United win a boring game boringly. See, I don't think today's game was boring. I could have carried on watching this match for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It was beautiful. Like, do you know what's funny? This game's boring for rivals because it's dominant. Do you know what you're saying there, my friend? You're now confirming what I've said about the peak Barcelona teams, peak Pep teams. I find their game's boring because he's never managed a team that I want to win. And it's always so one-sided that it's not a spectacle. Today, United was so good, you found it boring. That is music to my ears. I want you to find Man United games boring because that means we're dominating. That means we're the best. And you're like, oh, this is rubbish. And what people would have done when that second goal went in from Rashi, turn off. No point watching anymore. No need to, can't laugh at them. That's exactly what it is. So, yeah, I'm loving hearing that, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that. I love it. Right. Panel time, people. Man Like Neeks is here. KJ and Oh My Dizzy as well. But make sure the like button is being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. 7 games unbeaten. Guys, don't worry about if someone's spamming, I've told everyone before, ignore it. They go away. Just relax. Don't worry about it, mods. Honestly. It's also good for the algorithm, I've heard. So just leave it. That's true. Let's get them. Let's get people out now, people. Let's get people out now, people. Let's get the panel out now, people. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen. 3 points, 3 goals. Ronaldo scored. You know, Garnacho looking brilliant. Rashford scored with his head, with his mother.
Oh, yeah, and then we saw, and then we saw Donny van de Beek, bro. It's like we saw a unicorn, Bigfoot, flipping the Loch Ness monster all in one game.
And Santa.
Like all in one game. Absolute madness. Nah, man. Guys, does it not feel good to watch a United game and watch it like this? Just chilling, not
Just
on edge, not stressed, not worried about someone doing something stupid where we're gonna cause like an upset. I literally just watching my dad just chilling. It's like, yo, like we will get the win, we'll get the goal, and it feels nice, and it just shows Ten Hag's building something. And again, people expect us to be Man City in 2 weeks. Like that's never gonna happen. But these are the games that you show that you're starting to build something. The style of play was nice. They had no shots. Tell me the last time a team against United has had not a single shot on goal. David De Gea, I could have been in goal today. That's how little De Gea did today. It was a wonderful game. And you know what? I'm excited for what we're gonna do this season. Like I am. I'm not gonna lie. Like, will we get top 4? I don't know. Will we win the Europa League? I don't know. But I'd like to be on the journey because it's looking good, and we've got some good players. Garnacho was brilliant today, and yeah, we'll talk about Antony later. But yeah, overall, solid win. We just need to go beat Real Sociedad now, and we through, baby.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I want to throw this to Neeks first of all. In terms of how are you seeing the progression of this team, the style of this team now starting to really come through?
100%. I think anyone who says they can't see it is only lying to themselves. I know Roy Keane, in his defense of Ronaldo, and obviously people's rhetoric was that Man United played their best game, and you know they've been doing well under Ten Hag, etc., etc. You know, you need to trust him. And Roy Keane's rebuttal was, "Well, we're sitting 5th in the league." Yeah, that's because the league is not finished, and we know how the season started. The point was more about progression, what we've done since we were bad in terms of the first 2 games of the season. And I think it's very, very evident. Yeah, we lost 6-3 to Man City. I mean, now, because it was only a 3-goal deficit, you can kind of write it off. You know, if it's 6-0, that thing lives deep in the memory. You know, you can't shake
no, bro, what are you on about? We won 3-2 in the second half.
In the second half, exactly. So it's like, literally, since the first half against Man City, we've been brilliant. We've been brilliant. So I think the progression is clear. And I think because of the progression of the team, the issues that have cropped up over the course of the season, some of them external, some of them internal, I sometimes have been very comfortable that Ten Hag is the right man to deal with those issues because we're seeing the benefits on the pitch of his decision making. So if he's making the right decisions on the pitch, you're more likely to trust decisions off the pitch. And I think the players feed into that. The players are going to be more trustworthy of his decisions off the pitch. I'm not going to start you. Wan-Bissaka, I know he's been injured at times, but he's barely played this season. Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, yeah, again, some of them been injured, but they've hardly played this season. The only one who had a strop about not playing was Ronaldo in the end, but even that has been rectified in a very short period of time, and he's back starting. And of course, he got his goal. So I think the evidence on the pitch is clear. There was a lot of doubt, a lot of noise about Ten Hag before he joined Man United, when he joined Man United in the summer. And you're seeing a lot of those views soften because they know that they ain't got really a stick to beat us with. Or you're seeing them come from a different angle. And
Neeks, and what they did with the Ronaldo situation is to like, I can't say nothing about Ten Hag. Ronaldo situation happens. Yes, here's my chance. You see Danny Murphy jumping on it. Danny Murphy jumping on it.
Danny Murphy, this man who said Man United, he would have signed Gareth Southgate over Ten Hag for Manchester United.
Unity.
So it's like so when I see people trying to jump through different hoops and go over obstacles to try and criticize Ten Hag, it's evidence to me that things are going in the right direction.
Absolutely. And do you know what's interesting, right? You can't take away Brighton and Brentford.
No.
If we listen to the manager, it was a case of They weren't listening to instructions. They weren't working hard enough. It was a follow-on from the previous regime. He absolutely destroyed them after that Brentford game. And there was a change. There was a change in how he played. There was a change in approach. He also brought, I know Malassi and Lissandro were there, but he integrated his style. Antony came in, and the signing of Casemiro was this huge boost. Since those opening 2 games of the season, this is the league table. So Man United and Man City are on the same amount of points, matches won, games drawn, games defeated. The only area, by the way, even defensive record, only like Arsenal, West Ham, Everton, Chelsea have a better record by 1 goal conceded. We need to score more goals. The crazy thought about it is it's been our clinical edge, because we should have beaten Chelsea and we should have beaten Newcastle United, in my opinion. That puts us 8 wins in that period, which puts us closer to the top. Now, I'm not someone that will always do this, but you have to look at the progression over the course of this season. We are making strides forward. We are 4 or 5 months into this rebuild that everybody says is going to take 2 to 3 years, and I'm going to keep that 2 or 3 year period. So when people say we're still 5th, you have to look at the fact that there were a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, could this be Frank de Boer all over again? Could this be a relegation battle?" So to suddenly be this on form since that point, the second best team in the league, on par with City, right? We still had some up and down performances, and we're going to get some more in the future, because this squad ain't anywhere near. You're talking about a Mikel Arteta team that he's been building for 3 years. You're talking about a City team that's been built over what, 6, 7, 8 years. 7 years, like that. We're in front of top points wise in that period, 1 game less than Tottenham and a point in front of them, and we battered them the other day. So I kind of look at it along the lines of there's no reason for a Man United fan right now to not be optimistic. The only area of negativity I still have, and it's more about pressure, is pressure on the owners to keep funding this guy to build the squad that he needs and remove the dead wood that isn't good enough for the football club. The progression since those opening 2 defeats, where we were all just embarrassed, angry, upset, sad, has been sensational. I know rivals know this, because they don't bother turning up to Man United wins on the football terrace anymore. They don't bother turning up. When we'd win and scrape a 1-0, they come here and banter. None of you are here anymore. You're not even hearing this because you're not here. You're not here. I know you're not here. And that's how I know. When I know Man United are good, no one shows up. You guys are happy.
Can I just say
nah.
Before Omar Dizzy comes in, is that there's different things that are happened this season that for me is in the long term, it's actually a benefit. So those first 2 games, we can't write them off. But if anything, we shouldn't want to write it off, because it happened, and it happened for a reason. And what happened after that only happened after that because it happened in the first place. So what would Maguire have been dropped and Varane brought in at the speed that he was brought in if those 2 results didn't happen in the way that they did? We don't know. Eriksen was playing false 9 at one point. How long would that have continued if we had won those games or scraped to win, etc., etc.? The Ronaldo incident, for example. The Ronaldo incident, for example. Those key incidents and how the manager deals with it set shot for the future. So we take all of those challenges to go on and progress further, and we've done that so far.
Let me just, before I go to you, Dizzy, I'm very sorry, Dizzy. I'm sorry to say this, but on top of that as well, you look at it from a point of view of a lot of us, including myself, said in those match reviews, maybe this is what Dizzy was going to say, so I'm sorry. But is this Ten Hag giving these players the rope to hang themselves in those first few games percent? Okay, we'll play in this way, or we'll pick you as the player, or we'll play you in this position where you said it was the fault of Ralph or the fault of Ollie as to why we were doing so badly. Fine, we'll play your way. It went wrong, and it's like, right, now we try my way. And I think for me, that's what I felt. You saw Antonio Conte do that when he first joined Chelsea. Kind of kept things the old-fashioned Chelsea way in his first few games, was getting slapped.
Jose Mourinho did the same thing when he joined Real Madrid. Bro, when they got 5-0 at the new camp, and he just changed around.
What I was going to say is we ain't even got to go that far. Are we saying we're not giving a manager 2 games? 2 games? 2 games to mess up, and we're like, nah, De Boer, he's done. Get him out of here. That's crazy talk. Let's say, what's it called? Ten Hag was like, this is my strategy. He gets punched in the mouth, and he changes the strategy. He gets punched in the mouth again. And since that period, He hasn't been getting punched in the mouth. That's somebody that's learning. If we're saying we can't give a manager 2 games, I don't know what we're talking about, bro. This is getting crazy.
Yo, at least officially, he cannot be Frank de Boer. Like, he officially cannot be de Boer because that start was terrible.
Yeah, but you know what was beautiful about today though? Today was beautiful because it was a follow-up of the Tottenham and Chelsea game. The Chelsea game, I think we should have won it, but I'll take a draw. The Tottenham game, we fully dominated. We dominated them. And then today again, we dominated them. And then and Chelsea, the first half, we dominated. How many times could you say 3 games in a row there were dominant spells from a United team?
Yeah. And you're forgetting Ammonia as well.
Forgot him.
Yeah. And that game, people were trying to make fun of us and banner us because it's only 1-0, ha ha ha. But I was like, bruv, like, if you watch the game, the goalkeeper had an absolute blinder of a performance, and we just didn't want to score until Scott McTominay, Big Scott, come on the pitch and do something.
And we know there's issues still. We need to become more clinical. We absolutely know that. But you look at this team tonight; they played with a back 6, and then with 5 in front of them. It was literally a goalkeeper. It was a 6. Sorry, it was a 6-4 formation. 6 and 4. That's what they played. Right. Very hard to break down.
Proper Tony Pulis.
Yeah, like, I mean, even beyond that, I mean, they didn't. You actually look at their heat map. The only red marks are literally in their 6-yard box.
Yeah,
and that is from clearances, blocks, and the goalkeeper. So it was a complete dominant performance, and we got the goals in. I wanted to ask you all about certain players tonight making his starting debut, full debut as they call it, in Alessandro Garnacho. What you saying, KJ, about this young man's debut performance? OT.
You know me, I'm a man of the youth. You know what I mean? I love me some young players coming on, making their debuts, given a chance to show if they're good enough or not for Manchester United. Today's performance gave me a lot of encouragement that this boy, this young man, can play for Man United. Garnacho is talented. We saw it in the FA Youth Cup run. We saw it in the under 21s, under 18s. We've seen him do this for us. But when you get onto that big stage, no matter who the opposition is, it could be the best team in the world. It could be Sheriff. Being that young person in a pitch full of men is a different kettle of fish, and he handled that perfectly. The most impressive thing for me is that he could actually beat a man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like we've seen time and time again, young players who can dribble from the halfway line to the opposition's box and score goals. Come against men, can't beat a single guy. He was consistently beating his fullback inside, outside. He was making the right decisions as well for the most part. He was trying the right crosses. He was trying the right passes. Didn't come off all the time, but that's fine. He's a young guy. And when he lost the ball, what I loved, he'll try and take over his fullback. He would fail, but he would fight for it back. He'll win it back and recycle possession.
It's the intent. The intent, and I spotted that from the beginning of the match. His intent to drive at his winger, to make his fullback, to make the fullback think, what is he gonna do? Not I know what he's gonna do, so I'm gonna set up in a certain way because every single time he's gonna cut inside, he's gonna cut, or he's always gonna go down the line, whatever it might be. You have to give your fullback something to think about, and not to harp on him, but it's Sancho needs to be looking at that like.
Let me just say the same thing.
Sancho is playing with a cloud over him, a weight on his shoulders. Like he has to impress, and I get it. You have a big reputation based on what you've done in the Bundesliga, big price tag, England international, playing for Man United. He's got number 7. I can't remember now.
No, 25.
Nah.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, it's obviously Ronaldo, isn't it?
2 plus 5.
He got 2, but yeah. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about him getting the 7. But it was that expectation. He was going to come and solve all our problems in the wide positions. And he struggled last season. I think he's playing with a weight on his shoulders. And Garnacho comes in and he ain't got that weight because it's the youth. He's on his debut. The boss has told him to go out and have fun, playing against a team that you're going to have all the ball. And I think Sancho just needs to play like that. Yes, you're going to have times where the fullback's going to get you, but that's what it is. You just have to keep going until you beat him once. And then once you beat him once, you've given him something to think about now. And it makes it easier the next time and the time after. So I was looking at that and saying, Garnacho, a brilliant performance. But at the same time, like, this is what I want from Sancho. This is what I want from Sancho. And if Sancho doesn't produce that, then Garnacho's going to get more games. And I saw it from pre-season that he had something about him that he could really offer. And so I was glad to see him.
He's got a little. He's got a little something. There's a little something there within him that says, "I'm talented." He's just got to keep working hard and fighting. And what I hope he doesn't do is, go home tonight and go, "I've made it," because you haven't made it yet. Like again, every stage is like you've made it. You haven't made it until you've made 300 or 400 appearances and you've won league titles. But I even look at it this way: Rashford hasn't made it as a Man United player yet. He hasn't.
No.
He hasn't won a Premier League. He hasn't won a Champions League. Like, they're the standards of a club our size. That's when you make it. So I just want Garnacho to want. I mean, the good thing is Ronaldo's his legend. So if he wants to emulate his legend, then you've got to win Premier League titles and Champions League here.
Don't forget, he played with Ronaldo today. He's already been playing with Messi he plays for the Argentinian national team.
That's
you know what I mean? So this boy, that's how talented he is, and he's got those kind of characters around him. If he's got the right mentality to listen, not learn off Ronaldo, like the tantrums. Don't do that. You know what I mean? But like learn the good stuff off these guys.
How old is he?
He can become a good player. 18, 19.
18.
Imagine playing with Ronaldo and Messi at the age of 18.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Shane here says, yes, lads, love it. People hating United's good performances. I get the chat, but did you hear Paul Scholes and Owen Hargreaves, that is, on BT flat? Can they not see the progression we're making is what I think. Listen. I haven't seen what. Sorry, go on.
No, because I didn't see the post, but I saw the pre-match, and when they were, especially Paul Scholes, excusing Ronaldo. The legends are getting on my nerves with this thing. They really are. Rio, Roy,
they're all so wrong. They're all so wrong, and
I'm not calling the only one who's played with Ronaldo who has called it like it is.
It's crazy for me. Like, we saw them defend Oli when they shouldn't. I understand giving someone that you like and respect a bit more leeway. Or, like we said about before, I would have preferred those guys go, listen, I'm not commenting on Oli because he's my friend. That makes more sense. Defending the defense I've seen of Ronaldo has been shameless. I mean, Souness isn't a United legend, but when he said it, and I swear someone else said something similar with Kevin Peterson around the whole, well, who is this clown? He might not even be here in 5 years. How does he get to drop Ronaldo or banish Ronaldo? That logic is, the irony in it is this, as well as I do, Nick, I'm not sure if the others watch cricket. KP is a legendary, one of the best cricketers to ever play for England, in my opinion. So for him to know like what it's like to play at the elite level of a sport, and obviously for a team to win, the level of control that you need. England have always been at their best when the team had like a level-headed. But
those people, I don't know about Graham Souness, but Roy Keane had his issues at Manchester United with authority, got kicked out. Issues at Ireland, got kicked out of the 2002 World Cup squad. Paul Scholes himself refused to play in a League Cup game for Manchester United. And Kevin Peterson was very, very divisive and disruptive player, undermining managers like Peter or coaches like Peter Moore when he was over at England, leaking stats and all that kind of stuff, and talking to the opposition, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not surprised with those people who maybe feel a need to by defending Ronaldo. In turn, they justify their reasons and decisions for doing something because the quality of their play excuses and their career excuses any off the field misdemeanors. But someone like Rio Ferdinand, like, you haven't got those kind of issues that you had in football, but you're Ronaldo's friend. That's it. You text Ronaldo. And it's like, we know he talks about how he messages Ronaldo and that kind of stuff.
It's his bedroom, bro. But you gotta put him up, man.
So I know you're not gonna do that in public. So just don't say anything. Just say, I'm not saying it again. Like, move on.
You know what the beautiful thing about all of this is, and why none of this matters? Because Ten Hag took control of the situation. So now it's all just talk. Who cares?
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I love how Ten Hag's done it. And the craziest thing of it all for me is that these are the Roy Keanes. Neville not in this situation, but Gary Neville in this situation, I'm going to say, was one of them. Rio, Graham Souness, all these pundits were screaming for Man United to get a manager who could grip hold of the players, have his authority, stamp out player power. He's saying things like, lepers never change their spots. They're going to throw the manager under the bus. They want this manager to come in and be harsh on none.
And now
the manager comes in, be harsh on the player, but because it's their brethren, they're upset.
And on top of that, to add to that, KJ, on top of it, it's also because most of these guys, I'm not sure about Rios, but a lot of the Scholeses of this world, they all wanted it to be Poch. Or they wanted it to be done in a style of football.
They wanted it to be Ollie. They wanted it.
Well,
to be
yeah,
Ollie.
they wanted it to be Ollie, and then they wanted Poch to come in, and they wanted a particular style of play to do it. And the pundits are behaving, ironically, like a lot of content creators. Well, I'm not happy that I'm happy we're getting better, but it's not the manager I want. So every opportunity I get, I'm going to look for a negative thing to pull players up on. When we should be focusing as Man United fans on the fact that we know that still, I would say anywhere between 5 to 10 of these players in this squad are going to go, and we want to improve. But why no talk of the fact that Rashford's already equaled last year's goals? That's an improvement. Rashford's looking better and better and better. He's starting to eradicate player power. Not only have we not had an adverse effect of the Ronaldo situation, them players were celebrating after the Spurs win, and they didn't even know Ronaldo had left because they were just in that bubble of we have just won a game and played brilliantly. This is great. So those two things are happening. The style of football is, of course, getting better. The new signings have all made a very good impact. And like the likes of Casemiro, is he really a Ten Hag player? This could go wrong. Listen, he's got to keep doing this. But right now, I've got no fears that he isn't going to have a good 2, 3, 4 years at the football club. And any that we'll get onto in a minute has started very well. There's room to improve. But I haven't seen any journalist, I haven't seen any rival talk about his price tag once. Really. A few saying he should take more people on for the money, but he scored 3 goals in the Prem. He's starting every game. He's been impactful in most games. Things are going really, really well for Man United. When you look at those opening 2 games, as well as we've already mentioned, the fact that I'm not seeing the Scholeses of this world and the Rios, praise it. But we also saw this from Rio at the back end of last year. He was blaming our poor second half of the season on Ralph by going, yeah, Ralph shouldn't be coming out and like speaking about the problems at the club. It's wrong to do that. I'm like, he's literally here to do that. He's an interim. He isn't here to build like for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years. He's calling things out. And listen, I still look back at what Ralph Rangnick did. And although he wasn't a good enough coach, the stuff that he pointed out and made so public, he's definitely helping us. But I wanted to ask your opinion, guys, on the Antony situation. Personally, I don't think he was dragged off for doing that in the past, but a lot of people were laughing at him. Why is he doing that? It's embarrassing. Did you guys find what Antony did embarrassing?
No, I find that flipping hilarious. I love that crap. Oh, hey, listen. It's called OT, the theatre of dreams, bro. You telling me that a man can't go on there and do a little razzle dazzle? You know what I mean? Sprinkle a little seasoning on the game. Come on, people. It's football. We all here will sit here and praise and go on about as a kid. We got Ronaldinho, what he did with the football, the craziness that he did. Bro, we need showmen in this game. We need, look, Thierry Henry, va-va-voom. You know what I mean? We need that in the game. It's one of the reasons why we love this sport, because every now and then you get a player who's just on madness. Like, why does he do the things that he does? I don't understand. He's unhinged.
The best one against Chelsea, where he did the thing and then stopped and then flicked it like the little pass, and it was like comedic timing. Go on, Dizzy. Go on, bro.
I was gonna say, you know, when I knew that it was going all bad, when he came out with the bleached blonde hair, I was like, yeah, he's on something today. But two things. First of all, there needs to be a documentary on the Ralph Rangnick era at United. I don't know where the tapes are, but we need that. And then second thing, I thought it was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that and I found it hilarious. If we lost, maybe it's a different conversation, but we didn't. We're chilling. He felt comfortable. Yeah. We need players that feel comfortable.
You know what? I don't care what anyone says. The fact that he missed the pass afterwards made it even better.
In fairness,
that was a
the pass wasn't that far. I mean, that was a very hard.
It was the right pass.
It was the right pass. It was slightly overhit, and Casemiro isn't the fastest player. But it was, again, for me, if you do a skill and you try that pass, that's fine. It's if you do that skill and then you get tackled straight after. That's the problem. Yeah. If you do a pass like that and then your cross is, imagine you did that skill and crossed it and the cross misses the player's head by half an inch. It's not embarrassing. It's like his skills are weird because he doesn't do his skills often to like take people on. He does it to entice them in so he can pass the ball and create some space.
Yeah.
But I thought Robbie Savage was a little bit harsh. I was like, for me, I didn't find it embarrassing. And Old Trafford didn't. Trafford actually cheered it. Yes, the manager was like, oh, but if you put the camera on the manager the whole half, every misplaced pass he does that too. Come on,
no, I'm sorry.
He
Ten
took
Hag,
him off
remember,
of
Ten Hag has had this guy for like, this is his 3rd year working with him. He's basically his son. He looked like a dad who was just sick of their kids doing madness. You just see him just like, oh, again, I'm tired of it. Like, I
I
love
But,
it.
but you know what it is for me. As I mentioned it in terms of Sancho, the wingers, the forward positions is where those players. I want to have the freedom. I want you to express yourself. You're supposed to have that no fear because that's what creates chances. That's what makes goals. If you've got your wingers and your forwards just very robotic, this is what I'm gonna do: get down, cross. Then everyone knows what you're gonna do. No one knows when the ball comes to Antony. Nobody knows what happen next. That's what you need in the. Granted, it wasn't that right at the final third, but he's that player. So wherever he's on the pitch, he's gonna do something. And I don't have a problem with it. He won the game as well.
Bro. Like he didn't. One of the reasons why he didn't get tackled because even the defender, even the opposition player was like, "What the hell is going on here?" He literally just stopped and looked at him. Was like, "Wait."
I like it, and I agree with you. Like when Ronaldo first came to England, everybody said like one trick pony, show pony, stop the step over, stop the skills, and just concentrate. And over 2 or 3 year period, he learned when to do them, when not to do them. If you just stifle a player, and I'll tell you a player that should have gone on and been a much better player than he was, and he was full of skill as a kid, and Jose drummed it out of him, was Joe Cole. Joe Cole was beyond, again, you kids watching, you're not going to remember. Joe Cole was a 17, 18, 19-year-old. This guy's level of skill for an English player in that era was ridiculous. But Jose's regimented system took it away from him. Ashley Cole was one of the best. I mean, people talk about attacking defend, like Trent being a great attacking fullback. Ashley Cole at Arsenal in that era was out of this world. It was only at Chelsea where he basically didn't go beyond the halfway line anymore. Like some players have it stifled out of them. And to me, when you talk about the Man United way, we don't stifle that level of that level of freedom. You allow it, you embrace it. And I think that Ten Hag's just got to get that mixture right. I want to go to the super chat here that says Rio is also the guy who told Newcastle fans to pull their money together and buy the club when Ashley was in charge. He's super out of touch. He isn't. He is just, the reason that he didn't have a go at Mike Ashley is I believe at the time, and if I'm wrong, someone can correct me, but he'd recently, or it was already launched, his clothing range 5 was available in Sports Direct stores. So, of course, it's a business partner.
Right. I think I heard about that.
Yeah, he wasn't going to go and slag off Mike Ashley because he needed those stores to sell his products for him.
He ain't Kanye. He don't bite the hand that feed him. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. So yeah, from my point of view, like I love Rio Ferdinand. I'm not getting at him, but like all pundits, like all content creators, you get certain things wrong. And people that have defended Ronaldo or put Ronaldo above the club, it's a madness. Because by the way, I guarantee you this with Rio, and I'd love to say this to Rio's face, just to see his reaction. Let's get you on your show again, Rio, and ask about Ronaldo. But before you answer it, you remember in the famous scene in The Godfather 2, when the guy's about to grass on Michael Corleone and they bring his brother in from the homeland? Let's bring Fergie. Let's sit Fergie down opposite Rio Ferdinand and see if Rio Ferdinand gives that opinion. Because you know Fergie's in that room, he ain't saying it. If Fergie, by the way, if Fergie was in that dugout, Ronaldo wouldn't have done that either. And the point is, it doesn't matter that Fergie is more respected, more legendary than Ten Hag. And I've said this for years. It's the position they hold that has to be respected, as opposed to the individual, because that's where player power becomes out of control. And Rio would definitely not say it in front of Fergie. So for me, like, that's why I don't trust him on it. Plus, you know, it is what it is. By the way, Rio's content's great. I love what he does.
Yeah,
but on this one, he's wrong on this one there. A comment here says Bruno played really well. Some of course crosses just need a clinical striker. I mean, he should have so much more GA this year. The amount of chances Ronaldo, Rashford, these players have missed for him has been crazy this year, Bruno. But he's playing very well again, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but especially in that first half where obviously they were sitting very deep, struggling to really create chances. Those runs in behind, he was still doing it, even against that deep defense, even with Ronaldo on the pitch, who I guess apparently blocks up the space where he can get into, and he was making those runs. But you know, some of the final balls. But I think one thing that I want to see more from us, and we did it right at the end of the half, is scoring from set pieces. Because you get a goal early in the game, 10th minute, 15th minute, the whole game open. It's very open after that. And the set against a team that's sitting back, the set piece is sometimes the most likely way to get that first goal.
Yeah, breaks them.
Because in open play is so difficult, and I want to see more of that from us.
No, I think Bruno was good today, and this is why I like Ten Hag as well. He brought on Rashford at halftime. Was it halftime? Yeah, he put on Rashford at halftime. And instead of putting Rashford on the right, where we know that's not where he's good, he puts him in the center just behind Ronaldo, and he puts Bruno out wide, so Bruno can deliver those crosses that he can deliver. He was tracking back as well when he lost the ball. The ball is in that area, but Bruno did his job centrally and out on the right to a T. And this is what you should expect from a Manchester United player. When the manager tells you you've got a job to do, whether it's to play our position, whether it's to come off the bench at 13 minutes to go, you do what the manager says. And if you do it correctly, no one will say anything. So, yeah, big up to Bruno for listening to instructions. And Bruno on the right this season, you know, that's an up.
But you know what? It's one of the things that what we spoke about, especially some of the spaces pre-season, like how do we get Bruno and Eriksen in the same team? Because no one obviously one of the positions obviously where Eriksen is playing, but it was also that we know Bruno can drift out. Well, he does drift out to the right. So yeah, you're not going to say play him as a traditional winger, but if you got him on the right hand side of a free behind the striker, he can be very effective from that position. And obviously when we played Chelsea, he moved him out to the left. I don't think it really worked, but Chelsea didn't create anything. But we have to have those options because especially up front, we're light up front. We're light up front, especially due to injuries. And players are maybe going to have to play in certain positions they're not fully comfortable with, but can do a job for the team. And yeah, he did a good job when he went out there.
He did, and I think, listen, you look at this with the eye. I certainly see that he's creating as many chances as he's ever done. The statistics behind it back it up. He averages he's averaged around 2.5 chances per game created since he arrived, and he's averaging 2.5 this year. The improvement under this system is last season he was on average losing the ball 20 times per game. This season he's averaging 15, and the crazy thing is in those first 3 games of the season where he was losing the ball like 20 to 25 times. In the last 9 games, sorry, I'm just looking at my stats here, he's been averaging losing the ball around 9 times. So this is where I want to see Man United fans be fair. He isn't scoring as many goals, but he's creating as many chances, and he's losing the ball less, and we're improving. Flowers, please, because he's the one stat that every single Man United fan that hates him used was he loses the ball too much. Now he isn't. So what? Like, you've got nothing else to beat him with. And do you know what they'll come back with? Well, he ain't scoring like he used to. I want him to score an assist like that and give the ball away less. Well, by the way, if he starts shooting more and he starts putting more balls into the box, he will lose the ball more. There has got to be a trade-off in this. The crazy thing is when you score, you lose the possession. So you have to sometimes look at it. If he literally assists twice in a game and scores, that's 3 more times he's losing the ball. So the irony in it will be he'll start doing that and go, yeah, but look, he's gone from an average of 15 to 18 again. I'm not happy. Well, that's because he's doing the things like they're hating him so much. I'm really happy for him as well because I knew he'd do well under this manager, and hopefully more to come. This super chat says, did you see? Did any of you respect Jose? You all supported Pogba when it came to Jose. No, I mean I was going to stop the super chat there. Neeks was in studios with me back then. I said at the time, and I've repeated it 100 times since. As much as I love Pogba, I said backing the player over the manager is going to lead to years of ruining at the club. And I'm not going to name them, but basically every big Man United content creator out there called me out and said I was wrong on that. I even did streams with some of them, and look where the fuck we were up until the summer. So I backed Jose 100%. The only time I went at Jose was when he started slagging the players off in public, because I think when you do that too much, too consistently, that's wrong as well. So that's where I was on that one. I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah, I backed the manager always.
The man disrespected our club. I don't care. No one says. No, the Pogba situation is what it is. But people love to do revisionism, like Jose was this perfect person in the whole situation, and he didn't deserve to be sacked, and we deserve everything. No, bruv. Jose deserved to be sacked because Jose did a Jose, became toxic, and like ruined the dressing room, ruined the atmosphere of the club. That is it. If I was a younger guy, so of course I backed Pogba in it and be like, yo, why are you treating the players that way? Like I did, but as I've gotten older, I've realized, yo, the manager, the way that the manager wants to run the place, has to be done a certain way. But it's not like Ten Hag's been slagging off Ronaldo in the public. You know what I mean? Then trying to discipline him in the place.
The irony the irony in this is, by the way, thank you, John Raps, for your nice message as well. And I'm glad you're feeling better and everything. But you're absolutely right. This is the thing. People are slagging off Ten Hag about going, well, he dropped him, but then he says he's an important player. Listen, stop taking everything he's saying seriously. What the situation is this. If today we could sign Benjamin Šeško, or we could sign Vlahovic, or we could sign, I don't know, Ivan Toney today, but Ronaldo had to leave, I think Ten Hag sanctions it. If it was a striker he wanted. But he's never, the point is he isn't going to say that publicly, because that is the disrespect. He is keeping things sweet in the public and will do his talking behind scenes, which most of the time is what you want. The only time a manager should talk out is if a player keeps breaking rules, like Arteta ended up doing with Aubameyang, where it was like, listen, this is like the 4th, 5th, 6th time. I can't keep protecting you. Yeah. Now I'm going to out you. You know, Jose didn't do that. But what you did as well, KJ, like, isn't even wrong. In the end, Jose needed to be criticized. My view the whole time was just 2 wrongs don't make a right. Jose was wrong, but Pogba and Martial were wrong back then. Like, they were trying, you got to remember, Paul Pogba and his agent, God rest his soul. Now, I don't like to talk ill of anybody that's dead, but from January 2018, they were trying to get. They've been trying to get.
Yeah.
For over 4 years, they were trying to get away from the club, and every manager wanted rid of the player, and the owners just never allowed it. And
that was the biggest issue. The biggest issue was that the owners didn't back Jose. Forget the fans for a second. The owners, because Jose wanted to get rid of both Pogba and Martial years before. Well, at least a year before he got sacked. And basically, the owner said, both of them are staying, and you're staying. Fix it. And it was never. You have to.
And then they said, here's a contract for you to extend.
So you're gonna make it work for longer.
And then
the actual order of it was they gave him the new deal in the January. It was the March of that same year where he said, listen, look, for my system to work, Martial and Pogba aren't right for it. Now, that isn't Jose saying they're bad players. It's they're not fit, they're not right or fit for my system. And I think everyone's more educated now on football than ever before, that we all understand this. You can, look at some of the great players Pep Guardiola has been happy to allow to leave because they haven't been right for his system.
Crazy.
And that's
never worked under
even his dressing room.
Pep.
Sometimes not even the system, sometimes just the dressing room.
Yeah, well, it's those soft facts. It's one of the reasons why people don't like, the likes of Connor Cody in the England dressing room. But when you actually listen to people close to the England setup, he is literally one of the pieces of glue that keeps the squad together. And sometimes players like that are just as important as individuals.
You're never gonna play a game, but you are the man that when someone's upset, you go and help them.
Listen, but you know what I'd say to that? I think Anderson was an integral part of Fergie's squad between when he joined in 07 until when Fergie retired. Yes, he had some good games during them, but I think he as a figure and as a character was very important for that place and that room and those people. And those things are important. But as football fans, it isn't sexy enough for us to give 2 shits about. And when something isn't sexy, when something isn't brilliant, that's why when it comes to net spend and the money arguments, no one listens to the experts because it's boring now. I don't care about any of that. It's why the Glazer out movement always fades away, because it's boring. Attacking players and managers is more fun. But there we go. Boys, I appreciate you all coming on. I really, really do. Viewers, make sure you smash the like button before you leave. We're back tomorrow with more content for you, including the top 6 at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you're all tuning in for that. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you. Peace.